Hi everyone, it's Adriana. Welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to do a little process video for you guys. So I recently made a mini album and I have a bunch of scraps left. And so I thought I would make an even smaller album and I would show you guys how I did it. So here I'm just showing you all of the little scraps that I have left. And then now I am using chipboard to make my base of the album. So chipboard, it's not the same as cardboard. You can get it I got mine from Hobby Lobby. I know you can get it from Amazon. It's basically just something to make sure that your album is sturdy and it's not just gonna like fall apart. So, but the rest of the album is just cardstock. But for this, the base of the album, I'm using chipboard. So I have two pieces that are 4x4, and then the piece in the middle is the spine. So it's 4 inches by 1 inch wide. So our total album size is going to be a 4x4 inch album with a 1 inch spine. So anyways, what I'm doing here is I just glued them down and I left a little space between the spine and the two pieces of chipboard on the sides. Those are going to be our back and front covers. And so I left a little bit of space. So that way when we go to fold it into kind of like a book, we're not going to get much cracking or, tearing or anything of the paper because we left a little bit of space. Because if you don't leave any space, it's going to be really tight for the paper. So it might rip. I'm not sure exactly the best way to explain that, but just trust me, it might rip. So anyways, then here I basically cut the corners off of my mini album, or the corners off of my paper, so that you can fold them a little bit easier. And then before I go and fold it down, see what I'm doing here is I'm kind of working the paper in a little bit. And this is sped up, so it looks a lot faster than it actually was. And then I'm adding my adhesive and I'm just pressing those little flaps down. So now we have our mini album kind of started. And then here, what I do to avoid cracking, your bone folder is your best friend in this situation because you do not want to get cracking because then you're going to have to try to fix it or start over with your mini album. So anyways, what I was doing is pressing my bone folder down on those creases in the spaces between the spine and the other two pieces of chipboard. Those little spaces, I was pressing the bone folder down as I was pushing up each side of the album, just so that way it doesn't get cracking. And it just kind of works. You want to work the paper in basically when you're folding it like this because like I said, you can get cracking and stuff and it's just not fun. So anyways, and of course, if you want more of a detailed description on how to make bases for mini albums, there's a ton of videos out there. And I think I will start making more like traditional tutorials for mini albums once I've made more of them and once I'm like more comfortable with making them. I like making them, but I've only made a few of them. So I don't think that for right now I'm going to do a official tutorial. So this video is just kind of a process video on how I made this one. So this album is my third successful mini album. Technically it's the fourth one I've made, but the first one I ever made it just didn't end up working out the best. And that's okay. These types of things, when you're new at things, you have to practice. It's not always going to be perfect the first time. So anyways, what I'm doing right here is I cut down a piece of paper or cardstock that I cut it down to 8.5 by 4 and then scored at 4 on the 8-inch side and then flipped it around and scored at 4 again. So then our pages measure out to 4 by 4 and then that middle piece is just a 1/2 inch by 4 inches tall. So then I'm adding some adhesive and then I'm going to center it and try to get it in the middle as best as I can. Sometimes it's hard to line it up perfectly, but anyways, then once I get it lined up, I press it down and get it down really good with my bone folder. So the pages will line up with the album. They're going to be like flush with the sides because the pages are 4 inches tall and 4 inches wide, and that's how big the album is as well. So they are flush, so they're perfectly straight and aligned. There's a lot of people that make albums that they're not like aligned like flush like that. They're the pages, they usually make them a little bit shorter and a little bit smaller, so the base of the album is bigger. But I just decided for this I was just gonna make it flush. For the other album I made the pages a little bit shorter and smaller than the actual base of the album, but for this one I just wanted to do it different, keep it simple. So anyways, here I am taking all of my scraps, and I am cutting them down and seeing what I can make work with the album. I mean, I already kind of planned it out because I saw that based on the scraps I had, the biggest album I could really make was about a 4x4 album. So each of the pattern papers are cut to it's not 3 3/4, but it's not 3 7/8. It's the measurement right between those two. I'm not sure what that measurement is called, but so 3, and basically we can call it 3 7/8 by 3 7/8, but I did it a little bit of a smaller measurement than that, or bigger measurement? No, smaller measurement. So bigger than 3 3/4, but smaller than 3 7/8. And the reason why I did that is because I wanted it to be 3 7/8, and normally I like the 1/8 inch borders. I mean, they're hard to work with sometimes, and this was one of those times. So I was like, well, I don't want it to be 3 3/4. I feel like the border will be like too big. So I just went and like did my measurement in the middle of that. I'm not sure what that measurement's called. I guess it would be like 3 6/8 or 3 6/8. Is that what it would be? I don't know. I think that's what it's called. But anyways, so that's what I did for my pattern paper. And then for some of the pattern paper, I went and I just kind of like paper pieced it together and then cut it down to size. And then here I wanted to add some little flip outs. And obviously I couldn't add a ton because this album's small and I don't have a ton of scraps. So I really kept this album pretty simple. And this album probably took me like, I think about 2 hours maybe. So it didn't take as long as the other one that I did with this collection. That other one took me like 5 or 6 hours. That one, I definitely worked on that one for multiple days. Anyways, so here I'm just adding those little flip outs. And that part right there was like imperfect. I didn't line it up quite perfect, so I just cut off the little bit extra. And so that one I put down is going to flip upwards, and then this one is going to flip out to the right. So then I'm just using my tape runner and my liquid glue. I love my tape runner, but when I use liquid glue with it, it creates a stronger bond, and it also lets me have like a few seconds of wiggle room so I can kind of move it if it's not 100% perfect. So that's a little tip for you. And then here, I got these tags because I thought I was going to use them. I had a plan for them, but I didn't end up using them I did something different with the albums. So anyways, I cut one of the tags down and I decided to use it for the front cover. And then here I'm just matting all of those pattern papers that I got cut down. And before I started filming and gluing them down, I kind of decided, I kind of put them in order and figured out what I wanted to go where and which papers I thought would look really nice, like right next to each other. So as you can see, some of these pieces are full pieces, like one solid pattern paper, but some of them, like that one right there I'm gluing down, are, different. They've got some paper piecing situations going on. So anyways, and then here I am doing the cover, and the lighting was very bright, so it's a little bit hard to see that pattern paper, but it's the pink one it's a light pink with white hearts. And then I'm using the little wildflower, little tag cut apart. That's not a tag anymore. And I am just matting it on some black paper, black cardstock, and then just cutting it down and leaving about an 1/8 inch border-ish. And then I'm just attaching that to the front. And I tend to keep at least what I've noticed is I tend to keep the album covers pretty simple. I feel like I could add more, but I don't really know what else to add. And so anyways, and then I'm adding the little ABC block pattern on the back, and then on the side I'm doing this little like arrow pattern. I don't know, but anyways, this paper is so pretty. I love it's like an orangey brown color, corally color, I don't know, but it's really pretty. So then I'm adding that to the spine. So now I am all done decorating with the pattern paper, and then now I'm going to make some pockets. So the pockets, I only added 2 in the album, and I believe the measurements, when I cut it down, it was about 1.5 by 5, and then scored at 1/2 inch on both of those sides, and then scored at 1/2 inch on the 1.5 inch side. So then I'm just folding down those pieces that I scored, and then I'm cutting off the corners a little bit, and then I'm just gluing it down. So I added a pocket on the back page, and then on another page somewhere in the album, it's an ABC pattern that I added it on top of. And so these pockets aren't perfectly 1 inch. Like it's not perfectly 1 inch tall. Might be a tiny bit more, might be a tiny bit less. And the reason is because I was trying to for this one, the one I'm doing right now, I kept for some reason when I would put it on the book, it wasn't perfectly straight. So I kept trying to cut little bits of it off and trying to make it straight. And then finally I got it. So then I'm just gluing down those little folded edges, the edges the pieces that we scored. And then I'm gluing that down. And then another reason the pockets weren't perfect is because I was trying to work with my pattern paper and trying to make it so that I could actually use up some scraps. And anyways, so then here I am just matting some pattern paper for my pockets. And I think the pockets were really cute. They're so small, but they're so cute. So then I'm just gluing those papers down, and then after I make the little pockets, I decided I was going to put some little journal cards in the pockets. So here I am matting some of these little journal cards, and just in black paper, it's about an 1/8 inch border. And then for some of the little journal cards, for these 2, I just matted them, but for the other ones, I matted them, but they're like little booklets, I guess. And so anyways, you can add a few photos to the little booklet ones, and you'll see them in just a minute here. So then after I make all of my little journal cards, I think in total I made 5 of them. I think I made 5 little journal cards. And then after I matted the little journal cards, then I added them in the pockets, and I tried to kind of figure out which ones I wanted where. So that's what you see me doing here. And obviously whoever receives the album, they can definitely move the little journal cards around and do whatever they want with the album. But I just wanted it to look a certain way, I guess, for right now. And So that one right there that I'm putting in, that one is a little booklet. So it definitely, you can add a few photos in those little booklets. There's only like 2 little booklets. Anyways, so then here I am finally almost done with my little album, and I went through and I wanted to decorate a little bit more. So I went through some of my stickers from the cardstock sticker sheet, and I added a couple stickers where I felt that they would look good. And obviously, you can tell I still have a ton of stickers left. There's a lot of big ones and a lot of little ones. So I just didn't really get through that many stickers. Even through this album and the other album I made, I still just have a lot of stickers left, but that's okay. So anyways, I am all done with my album. So here I'm just showing you like a little flip through of the album. On the back, I added a little sticker that says all about you. And the front cover is just that little cut apart. I kept the front cover very simple. So then here I'm kind of showing you some different size photos you can do. And obviously with this album, since it is only a 4x4 album, you can't add like super big photos. So 3x3 photos or 2.5 by 3.5 little wallet size photos would work really well for this album. Or even like some little Polaroid photos you have, like, you know, photos you can take with like the little Instax mini, those little cameras. Those photos would go really well on this album as well. So anything small that you have would go perfect. And then those are some of the journal cards. And here I'm showing you can add a 3x3 photo in this little booklet. You can add one there and one on the top and another one on the back if you want. So there's definitely at least 3 spots on just that little journal card for photos. And then there's the other 2 journal cards. They're not little booklets. They're just regular journal cards. And then that flips open to the side. And that little sticker right there says cute and cuddly on that last page, on the flower page. And then here is another journal card. And then this one is a booklet. So you can definitely add some more photos in there. For a 3x3, it is a bit of a snug fit, so less of a border on the sides, but you can still add a couple photos on there. And then on the bottom, it has a sticker on that little pocket, and it says, "Love you to the moon." So that is my little 4x4 mini album. And right here, I'm going to show you guys all of the scraps that I have left. I still have a sticker sheet and a couple of scraps. And now I didn't buy a ton from this collection, just the paper and the stickers, and that was it. And I still was able to make 2 mini albums. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this little process video of me making a mini album. And there will be a little project share video coming soon for you guys with the other mini album that I made using this collection. But that is all that I have for today's video. Let me know down below what you thought of it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.